Hi everyone, it's Edrian Pangilinan here, and I am your host of Soul Supremacy, where we talk about all things unapologetic and all things passion and in pursuit of. And we are on episode 3, everyone. So if this is your first time, welcome. And if you have been watching the last two episodes, thank you so much. Salamat. And welcome. So for today's episode, we have Ate Mary Les from the East Coast, rocking the East Coast time central. We're like 3 hours ahead. Pero just a little bit of a brief bio on her, according to her Instagram, which is Pinay Nanay Nurse. She says she is a Cebuana mom, an ICURN, a yogi, an entrepreneur, a live streamer from Kumu, which is a Philippine live streaming app, and an overall content creator. So, everyone, let's please give her a round of applause.
Hello, Adrian. Hello
Hello
to all
again. Hello
your
again. Take two. This was
listeners
take
on your
two. Just
podcast.
saying. Thank you. How are you feeling this morning?
Feeling great and such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me over.
Oh, thank you. I was just actually before we got started, I was just telling her how, and actually this has been for everyone I've filmed so far. I'm like, thank you for being here. I talagang is it okay kung Taglish tayo because I will go Taglish.
No
Kinda, yeah,
problem.
okay. Um, like I think just for people, just to know that people are able to trust me not only with their time, but also with their stories and me being able to connect with them in this way. It's super, super humbling. And when I asked her, super spontaneous, everyone that I've asked to be my live stream this month, which is January, they all know it was super last minute, super scrappy, and they said yes, without a doubt. So talagang nakakataba sa puso. Okay, so we're actually gonna get started with 5 ice-breaking questions. Are you ready?
Ooh, I'm ready.
Okay. So the first question is 5 things that people don't know about you from a first glance. Sa unang tingin.
I am friendly. I'm transparent. I am very comedian sometimes, funny. I am business minded.
Mhm.
I am trustworthy. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. Next question. How's your sleep last night?
Oh, my sleep was night was great kasi I worked straight 3 shifts and sabi ko I always look forward to my days off. So last night I was able to have a movie time with Michael because he's holiday vacation. So I spent time with him watching a great Christmas movie. And after that, I went to bed. And actually, sabi niya, Mommy, can you please sleep with me? So I don't do that a lot of times. And especially if I work in a COVID unit, I don't sleep with, like, for example, I don't stay in my room with my husband, go to a separate room or maybe a couch. Because I'm so tired. I always like
Yeah.
raise my legs at the end of the shift. Yeah, because we don't
Yeah.
we don't really have so much time to sit down and do all the work. We do like we move a lot.
Hmm.
If you want to know
Thank you.
how many steps a day I walk at work, so I have a target of like 2,000 steps. I walk like at sometimes 2,500 steps a day.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot.
Mm-hmm.
How many steps? Okay. I'll do a follow up question on that later.
Okay.
Okay. The third question: Kumu or YouTube?
Kumu.
Bakit? I'm curious.
Kumu is such a great platform for all Filipinos anywhere in the world. You can be in New Zealand, in the Philippines, in USA, in Cebu, and it's free app. And you can actually keep in touch with your favorite. Like for example, right now I'm very a supportive of Miss Alisa Quijano. She is one of the like great singers in the Philippines, and now we have built this kind of small group VKTs, like para kaming pamilya. We talk about life not only because we support her, but she also supports us when we stream. So streaming, any platforms will do. If you want to do cooking, you can do cooking streams. You can do singing. I do karaoke streams sometimes, and
Mm,
sometimes I have my cuisine diary. So even cooking lumpia, rolling a lumpia, I have this stream, and people enjoy it because a lot of parents, especially they're bored at home during this quarantine season. it's not really a season to celebrate, but we have so many takeaways from the pandemic. Like number one,
Yes.
spending time with your family and cooking instead of ordering a lot of stuff like from outside, mga takeout, di ba? Dito, nagluluto na tayo and we appreciate that because that's what we need to do as a mom. We need to at least explore our refrigerator and do experiment with different kinds of recipes. So that's
Yes.
my thing.
Yes. Actually, good thing you brought that up because I will. That's also a follow up question that I have later. Talagang, I'm looking at my notes over here. I have a lot. I have a lot to
Oh.
ask her. We've actually okay. So just a little brief. Actually, no. We haven't met yet. We met online, but then I'll have her answer this when I ask her this question because there's a story to this. Okay. Two more ice breaking questions. Okay. The fourth one is your lifelong favorite quote to live by. If you only got to choose one,
Mhm.
what would it be?
Whatever comes, it comes. Whatever go, let it go. Whoever stay, let it stay. And actually, I have a tattoo at the back. Sa aking likod, I have it like inked, and that's my life.
Oh shoot! That quote you just said verbatim.
Mm-hmm. I
Wow.
don't know. It was actually known. I was like looking for ideas, but later on, for me, it since I started practicing yoga back in 2017, and then 18, it's like I've been doing that every day because I used to go to studios, and then I try to like explore yourself. What's your purpose in life? And isa yan sa mga natutunan ko talaga na growing up, people come and go. You learn from them, but they still leave. Whatever come, let it come. Invite positivity, and then whatever, whoever goes, then let it go. We can't dwell on anything like that. If people die, they die. Like I lost my parents at a young age. So sabi ko sa sarili ko, there's no time for regret. All you have to do is move on and learn from what's the reason. There's always a reason behind everything. And then
Yeah.
whatever like you feel right now, it's all temporary. Because in a glance of like next 2 minutes, iba na naman yung mood mo. So all you
Yeah.
have to do is just stay what's positive and of course enjoy the moment.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, of course, it's like it's hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not impossible. Better than it's like we do really have the power. It's up to us. We have that power to be able to make a decision to, do we go this way where we know that's not gonna serve me, or do I just keep moving forward or the other way where I'm gonna keep moving forward because that's what my life deserves, diba?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And last question for now is, what was your childhood dream? Like, does that make sense? What was your childhood dream?
I'm gonna be honest with this one, and I think I'm living my dream because number one, may dalawa akong dreams before. So yung
Yes.
dream ko talaga is to have a family and have a Phil-Am kid, and I have a foreigner husband.
I
And my second
how
dream is
young?
to
Okay,
really
I'm curious. How young?
when I was in elementary, because in
Okay.
elementary, my aunt actually got married then, and she migrated her in the U.S. when I was like
Okay.
younger, about elementary. So she always sent us balikbayan boxes, and then she's very like generous to her blessings with us. And then every time she comes home for vacation, she brings her son, which is a Filipino American, and they speak English. And that's my dream to be fluently able to speak English and know
Mm.
the meaning of what I say. Because before, we are like, I grew up in the Philippines and we've learned our ABCs in Bisaya because I'm from Cebu. I learned it in Bisaya, um, Bisaya, Tagalog, and then English. But I really want to like talk to like fluently talaga. Because before I always bring dictionary. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? I want to learn to be able to communicate to my cousin who speaks English because he laughed at me. I always have this mixture of Bisaya and English word, and my aunt was
Mm.
like laughing. She's like, "I know you're trying hard. It's okay. It's okay."
Ah,
Sabi ko,
talagang talagang
oo.
Inglesera kang palaka bata
English
pa.
yan pala ka. Ay. Oh, yeah. So, ang second na dream ko is to be a nurse. kahit saan,
Wow.
I can, like sa Philippines, if I have the chance to serve, as a nurse, kung maganda talaga ang sweldo sa Philippines, I think I would rather stay sa Philippines. Pero I'm
Wow.
thankful of what I have kahit andito ako sa US, much I am
Mm,
beyond grateful pa din. Yeah.
mm, okay. Actually, that is, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's one of the, actually, everything you've said are in my question. So, okay.
I
So,
can read your mind.
yeah, salamat ate.
No
Let's
problem.
see. I'm curious, how old are you?
I'm 34 years old.
34. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. No, yeah, I had a feeling that we were not that much older. Yeah, old apart. Yeah. I'm 28. 28.
You're 28. Wow, you're
28
young.
pero also I will be mindful of how I say this, but it's like, and I know that I'm okay with it. I'm 28 and I feel like I'm just beginning, like literally in the beginning stages of my life, of me finally
Mm.
embracing who I am. Because I feel like any time before this was like everything that I needed to do to get to where I'm at now. And I mean, like on the contrary to what anyone or everyone might say, that at 28 you should have your life together. So like at this age you should have this, at this age you should have that. But it's just like I think like what you said, relating it back to what you said earlier. We are where we need to be. We in a
Mm-hmm.
sense we are really where we are supposed to be, and
Mm-hmm.
screw social constructs.
And I do believe as well, since I am very religious on the other side, that's the main thing. I know everything happens for a reason, and everything happens at the right time, at the right place. You know.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's not yeah, and the obstacles that you're going through, the challenges, I believe in my heart now, it's not given to us, that we are not given things that we are not able to handle, and that
Mm-hmm.
we grow because of that. And also, when the things, opportunities, people in your life finally come to you, it's because not only it's because it's your time, but it's also like worked you did what you had to do to get to that point. Like what I've been saying.
Absolutely.
Like with my see Ati Noreen, she was my first interview. If I'll introduce you to her. You two would love each other. I was just telling her how like that moment, those moments are like shooting stars. It's just like, of course we don't have shooting stars all the time, but when it happens, and that's like abundance. Like the things that come to us, it's like boom. When you're ready for it, it shoots.
It shoots,
So
and it
it
shoots.
it shoots. Ganon, yes.
Canon.
So as we transition to the main part of the interview, my first question for you is, who is Ate Mariles, aka Pinay Nanay Nurse?
Mariles is a very organic person. What you see is what you get. And if you see me happy today, I'm always happy and smiling because I'm a very positive person. You know how I grew up dealing with struggles, a lot of struggles in life, but you will never see me like regret why it happened because for me there's a reason behind all those things that happened, and I am a very friendly person. I do value friendship, relationship, and I love my family so much. That's my priority. And I love my career. I love my career as a nurse, and I love taking care of people that really needs my help. That's all. Para namang Miss
Mm,
Universe question ko.
yes, and I. Pak ganon, ganon. Yes. Ate, what are you drinking? What are you drinking
Oh,
over
I'm
there?
drinking an aloe peach. So this
Oh,
is one of the
alopecia.
products. Yeah, this is one of the products that I am drinking because it's an aloe healthy drink, and
Mm-hmm.
one of my sidelines, my businesses. So I'm
Yes, yes,
I'm using the product.
Yes, ate, pagkatapos, please don't forget to, okay? Kapag
Mention
in the
it.
end, please shout out everything, promote everything. Don't forget
Okay,
that. Yes.
yay! Thank you.
Cheers,
Mm.
ate. Cheers. This is okay.
Cheers.
Before we continue, I just want to say this is so cool to be able to not just talk to you, but to have like these interactions. Like, granted, we've never met in person before. We only met on social media, I think for about a good year now. And I still I actually I forget where I was, But I vividly remember the moment where when I saw her the notification that she followed me. I was like, who is she? Who's she?
Who's she?
Who's she? Sino to? But then, I shortly after, we started to get to know each other, and now we're like here finally talking in online while it feels like we're talking in person. So, which is all that matters.
And I
Okay, so
remember I joined your live chat as well.
you
And you
did,
actually like,
you did,
remember,
you
yeah,
did,
during the
yeah.
around March or April.
Yep, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah, I was actually at that moment I parang it did confirm my ano parang the way the lightness that I feel about you. It's like, oh, talagang ano. And I when you popped up on my Instagram live that one day in April, I was like, oh, salamat. Thank you. Actually,
No.
that was my second question, pero I want to throw it back to you and ask you, how did you find me?
Well, I watched one of your videos on YouTube na randomly lang. I don't know how it happened. Be
Uh-huh.
for a reason, as always. And then later on, I found your link to your other socials, so Instagram. And then how authentic you are.
Oh,
And
thank
how,
you.
especially, I understand that it took you a while before you finally came out. And I am proud that you are proud of who you are because I can relate to it. When I was in high school, I really questioned myself and I went through the same path. I questioned, like, I have this identity crisis. And I had a great LGBTQ family, like in high
Mhm.
school, in college, and I went, and honestly, I had relationships in the past.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. hmm
That's cool.
Everyone
That's
knows
cool.
about me. Who the closest persons and the people in high school and college, they know what I
Oh,
went through.
salamat.
And ano yung mga relationship na, of course, na-learn natin. Yung anong na-learn mo sa relationship na yan.
Mhm.
Diba?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, as long as I mean, it honestly it doesn't really matter who you are and who you're with. All that matters is
As
that you're
long as you're
happy,
happy.
happy in the
hmm
end. Wow, thank you for telling me that. I never
That one, you never knew
I
about me.
never knew that. I was like, whoa,
There you go.
salamat. Okay, a follow-up question on that. Were you just on YouTube or did you find it through like a Facebook group or like how did you come across my video on YouTube? Like how did that happen?
Oh, because at that time, no, random lang talaga. I couldn't even remember exactly. But I was like, mga Filipino na mga streamers and even mga
Oh, okay.
YouTubers. That's how I found you. I found
Wow.
your video talaga. I think at that time you're still like creating like for your filmmaking
Mhm.
aspirations, ganon. So I really enjoyed it, and I said, let me see what this kid is doing. So I call you as a kid because sabi ko this kid is so interesting. And
Salamat.
basta lang, pero later on I found out na talagang super passionate ka sa work mo. Mm,
Thank you. Salamat
yeah.
sa reminder.
And
I really
congratulations pala because I know you just won that filmmaking, yung short film mo. That was, grabe ang galing.
salamat talagang binuhos ko yung alam mo kasi tayong dalawa we both wear our hearts on our sleeves. Tingnan mo meron nga akong tattoo on my sleeves. Nakasulat, Aja, fighting. Ganon parang
Aja!
Aja, fighting. I should
Mhm.
get one after this saying screw the
Uy,
haters.
alam mo, hindi ko
Ganon.
rin na-mention na isa sa
Mm.
mga, like, hindi alam ng mga tao. I am a nurse, but I'm so scared of needles.
Mm.
And I'm scared of heights.
Oh yes, you did.
So
Oh yeah,
yun.
you didn't mention that. That's surprising. Oh wait, no, I
Oo,
mentioned it though, but you didn't say it,
I didn't say it. Yeah, but
and that's
I'm scared
okay.
of needles. So in 2018, I tried to like overcome the fear of needles. I had three tattoos in one day. In one day talaga, three sessions. So I have this. Of course, may meaning yung mga
Mhm.
tattoo natin, di ba?
Ano yan? Sorry.
So it's actually like a card rhythm and tapos my heart. And
Mhm.
then yung three stars, so it means yung tatlong sisters ko. So my
Aw.
ate, I'm the third in the family. So ang ate ko,
Aw.
dalawang ate, ako, at saka yung youngest naman si Risha.
That is a yeah, yung nasa
They're
Facebook
embedded in me.
mo, that's a beautiful picture.
Thank you. And then,
Yeah.
may scar din ako dito sa shin ko. Kasi nahulog ako sa jeep before. I was in a hurry to submit my homework. Yeah,
Sorry.
it was really bad.
I
So,
I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because I that's happened to my sister, except I pushed her off the tricycle and she like fell down in the canal like next to it.
yung ako, so, yung nauntog yung shin ko, and then it
Oh
got,
shoot.
I had cellulitis. That was first surgery. And then major surgery. So, I
Oh
did not
shoot.
even know.
Talaga
And I
naka-major
was
sur
scared.
oh shoot,
Oo,
sorry.
it was a major surgery. They cleaned it out because I had infection on my bone. Sa bone
Oh,
talaga. Oo.
ay.
I was like second year college nung time na yun.
Oh, did you get an A
Mm-hmm.
on that project at least?
Well, at least, yeah.
Ay, mabuti naman that you're alive to tell that story.
Mhm.
Charot lang.
True.
I don't know why I found that funny. No, well, maybe because I could like knowing you and just kind of who you are. I like perfectly saw that in my head.
Mhm. And
Parang,
fear of
fighting, I'm
heights
gonna get this A.
din.
Tapos napatid ka.
Yung
Yeah.
fear of heights din, ayaw kong mag like elevator before. I always have like
Oh shit.
nagpapalpitate ako. Nagpapalpitate ako pag ang
Mm.
elevator nasa more than 7 floors na. But you know what? I also conquered that fear when
Mm-hmm.
at that time we're still like, I think nung time na yon, he was like visiting me sa Philippines. And then we went to this very tall building na pwede ka mag-walk up into the sky. Parang, it's like one
Mm.
of the highest or tallest building in Cebu. So, we were actually like strapped and we were like safely ano ba yan? So, pwede ka maglakad. And then, I was like so tall or high. Sabi ko man, nahihilo na ako. But later on, sabi ko, okay, I conquered the fear. You know what did I do? I jumped off the plane. Nag-skydiving ako dito sa New York noong
Oh
mga
shoot.
2013. Yeah, 2013. And then my fear of heights talagang totally nawala. And I felt like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
after that jump, sabi ko, I wanna do it again.
Mm-hmm. It's not
Yeah.
it's not funny how you had to do something like way above that initial fear, and then after that you're like, "Ay, okay."
Okay,
Iba
that's it. So
parang yun
nothing
lang.
is impossible talaga as long as you try. So,
Yes. Yeah, like actually live streaming actually just to talk about live streaming. So by the time this comes out, which is gonna be the third Friday of January, tignan ko na yung date para hindi na tayo magpa ano, assume kung anong date. January 15 at 7 p.m. PST time.
oh,
Um, yes, yes. So you are the third person. I would have finished my 31-day Vlogmas live stream challenge in which I overcame my own apprehensions. Not so much fear, pero my like, like
cool.
this when it comes to live streaming. So yeah. Okay. Ano being next? It's funny because like for the last two people that I've interviewed, I get so hooked into the conversation that I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shoot, I have questions. Okay, let me look back at them. Oh, actually, okay, so that is a perfect segue because you started talking about your life in the Philippines. Would you mind sharing us who was Mary Les in the Philippines? What was your life like growing up? Because I know you started talking about it. So when you started talking about it, I was like, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. Because, for me, especially being someone who is first gen, first generation Filipino American, these are the questions that I, really want to ask is how their life was in the Philippines and then their adjustment period here. It's always interesting.
So, so growing up, I've learned to really trust myself because, I lost my dad so early. I grew up with mga parents were both OFW, so they work in Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, um, me and my siblings are all left sa lola ko. So I grew up with my grandparents and learning the values that they have imparted in us growing up. Magaling magluto yung lola ko. So, but she doesn't want us to help her out. So, nava-value ko din yung, I mean, growing up then, I learned how to value things that are not like that are important, especially time with your family. And I always have this like clear memories every time my mom leaves the airport and say goodbye, I'll see you in 3 years, because there's always like 3 year contract when we're in the Middle East. So that's what they do. Overseas Filipino workers do that a lot, 2 to 3 years. So it's like I'm crying until now. I still
I
remember
know, I know.
how
That's
it
what I was
felt
gonna ask
like.
kung umiiyak ka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And then I remembered when I was 7 years old. I could still remember when my dad was brought back home because he passed away. He died
Oh
in
no.
Saudi Arabia. It was a complication of his
Sorry.
heart disease. And then he was brought in here. Namatay siya ng July. Dumating yung body niya August na. So
Mm.
I was 7 years old. Imagine, and I see people crying. Like, and I could still remember. Like right now, I feel like I'm teary-eyed. Kasi
Okay lang,
na-remember
okay
ko,
lang.
tong daddy ko nasa kahon. And we couldn't see him. We're not allowed to open up and see his face. Because kasi, of course, matagal na. July 1st namatay siya. Tapos, anong date na yun? Mga August na siya. Mhm. So, hindi pwede.
Talagang
Living
hindi
siya. No.
kahit na parang may glass, hindi pwede?
No, na-decompose na kasi yung body. Pero
Ah.
even though may I could still remember the smell, the way it looks, at saka I don't know if you believe in this, but when
Mhm.
when someone you love dies, there are always like signs. And then na-remember ko nung time na yun na nalaman namin that he passed, yung light namin sa kitchen nagbi-blink-blink siya. So
Oh, shoot.
for me, that was already a sign that my dad said, I'm just here. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. And then
Yeah.
growing up in the Philippines, alam mo naman, everything is, pero masaya talaga. I really love my
Yes.
life in the Philippines. Na kahit naghirap kami before, especially when my dad passed, meron pa rin yung spirit ng family na we help each other. Yung tita ko, since wala na kaming source of income sa
So
tatay ko,
talagang super close na close kayo ng
super
pamilya
close
mo.
kami.
Super
Malaki yung
close.
pamilya ko sa Philippines.
Mm.
Oo. Tapos kasi naalala ko din growing up na there are times na si Lola talagang kuripot din. So I only give you something para lang sa project mo. Wala na yung iba-iba. Na-remember ko pa, I could only have like a new set clothes pag Christmas, pag birthday. Oo, wala ka talagang like freedom to buy things you own because of course we depend on sino yung nagsusponsor. Always yung tita ko, ganun. Tapos later on, nag-aral talaga ako because what they always injected in our minds na, your education will never go away. Nobody can steal that. So you have to do
Yes,
the
you
best you
better say
can.
that, mama. Ay!
Tapos nang naligo, I told you,
bigay
Ma!
bigay mo na. Okay lang, bigay mo na
Okay,
yung ano
it's
niya,
in my
yung
closet upstairs. Which one? The one by the TV.
Oh
Told
god.
you, that's good
No, you're
talaga.
good. That is so adorable. I could tell that he's a sweet kid, just like how he's like kind of. Oh wow. Um.
That's like yung icebreaker natin.
Yes, talaga.
Yes.
Oh no, oh no, trust me. I've had my own fair shares of icebreakers,
Mm-hmm.
ice breaking moments during my life, and it's like, do I let that get to me, or do I just move on from it? Super long story short. And I'm like, you know
Super
what? I'm
cool.
gonna move on from it and do this interview with you today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pero ano, okay, continue. Okay.
Mhm.
That was
To
so
make
cute.
that story short as well, so yung talagang like meron din tayong mga holidays na talagang nami-miss ko yung parents ko. And then alam mo sa mga movies, makikita mo yung mga kids growing up wala yung parents. So nakikita ko nagsiselos ako kasi during Christmas like madadala mo talaga sa like for example sa school, yung parents mo nandun. Ako wala kasi
Mm-hmm.
one thing also, nung nag-high school ako at saka college, di ba, when you apply for school, your mom, your parents are with you. Wala sila sa akin. I went to my school to enroll myself,
Mm-hmm.
nag-interview, and even nung sa School of Nursing, kasi it's so hard to go to enter nursing, the nursing program, magte-take ka pa ng exams, na interview
Mm-hmm.
pa with you and your parents. So, they always question me, where are your parents? So yun, na-mention ko na during the time na I had to enroll into like the program for nursing school, I had to like go for the interview by myself without my parents. And that really taught me and how to be more independent and trust in myself. Like I boosted my confidence into different people, into strangers. And we make mistakes in life, especially trusting the people that are not really in line with what you wanted in life, diba? But we learn,
Uh-huh.
we
Yeah.
learn, we learn, and we learn the mistakes. We move on and we forget. That's all, diba?
Yeah. What are some of your because I know that you've shared like some of your hard uh your hardships in the Philippines. Then to combat that, then what are some of your most well remembered memories, fun memories in the Philippines? Like when you
Fun
think about the
memories.
Philippines, yes, yeah. If you have any, as I know you do.
A lot of things. Holidays. As Filipinos, we celebrate Christmas early as September. And I
Oh
get so
yes, yeah.
excited because I look forward to like,
Why? I'm
oh,
curious why. Okay, okay. For anyone that's watching, actually, that is always a like bababa ko na to dali lang. There para mag-match tayo ng headspace. There you go. Why? Why is that?
because in the Philippines, you will feel the spirit of Christmas as early as September. So even if you go to the mall, you can hear already,
I
like, they
know.
play over the radio, yung mga Christmas songs ni Jose Mariles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like keeping your spirits up, even though may mga, at least to look forward to the holidays that you will spend time again with your family. And I'm excited because my mom always tells us, oh, well, I'm going home for Christmas. But, sometimes nadi-disappoint kami kasi hindi natutuloy. But at least we have
Yeah.
something to look forward to. Ganon.
Yeah.
So Christmas, holidays, o kung meron din, of course, meron mga birthdays. I really love celebrating birthdays and because punta ka sa church and then you always thank the Lord God for gave another life. Kasi I know
Yes.
a lot of people busy dito sa Amerika, hindi na nga binavalue yung celebration ng birthday nila. Yeah. May
Mm-hmm.
marami akong kakilala sabi, it's just another day, it's
Yes.
just you're just another day older. But for me, it's a celebration of life talaga.
Yes. I actually kind of that relates for me at least to waking up every day. I mean, I still try every single day. I still try to, but I remember like maybe a while back, every single day I'd be like, thank you," and I still actually still do it because it's like literally, we could have passed away in our sleep, but
Mm-hmm.
you're like, diba, like that
Ooh.
another like kind of revitalize ulit tayo for a brand new day, a brand new life, and I think that's for myself personally speaking, that's what I just have to keep reminding myself now, even though there are things that happen or feelings na parang you carry from the day before. We have to also remember na the like literally the fact that the sun can go up and down just means that there is a clear reminder every day that there are new beginnings.
Mm-hmm. New beginnings. And
So
tomorrow is another day.
yes, we can start all
Mm-hmm.
over again, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
ate, okay, so then what happened? So paano ka? How did you end up here in the United States? What was that? What was
Ooh.
that experience like? What was your story?
That was
Expose me
like
na
an
dito. Just kidding.
MK.
Just kidding.
Story. So what
Yes.
happened? What
Ako
happened?
si Ma'am Bruja. Ma'am Bruja. Just kidding.
So what really happened? Why I came here in the U.S. So way back in 2009, I was already working as a nurse in a big company. It's a beverage company, and I work as a clinic nurse, and I also work for HR. At the time, meron kaming company activity, and we went to like plantation. Isa yun sa mga five-star hotel and resort sa Cebu. And
Mhm.
then I had randomly someone just sent me a message on Facebook. Nasabi niya, oh, how is it? Maganda ba yun? So Filipina siya, and she's from Cebu. Actually, siya yung naging instrumento, or my husband, my current husband. Kasi yung time na yun, nasabi niya, uuwi ako ng Cebu, and she's also an aspiring musician. She sings and looking for some places na saan siya mag-film na kanyang mga music video. To make the short,
Mhm.
the long story short, nakilala ko yung husband ko sa dinner nung nag-party si Ate Jojo. And then my husband was just visiting because he works
Sana
with the
all my story.
airline.
Okay, so sorry to
Oo.
interrupt you, ate, pero I always hear stories like that. And I'm like, where's my story? Nasaan yung mga, okay, for my friends that are watching, as I know they'll be watching this because they're just kind of supporting me in what I do. You already know if you have mutual friends, don't hide them from me. No, I'm just kidding. Diba? Diba ganun? Continue, sorry.
So, naging instrumento si Ate Jojo kasi random friend ko lang siya na nakilala sa Facebook. Nag-ask lang siya about the amenities ng hotel or resort na yon. And then later on, naging friends kami. Sabi niya, you know what, I'm so thankful kasi siya doon. She said, I'm inviting you over sa dinner. So, nung time na yon, yung husband ko had actually training sa Japan. He went to he went to Cebu for a trip before siya umuwi ng New Jersey. So, I met him one night for an hour lang na conversation na we ate dinner together. And then I think it was love at first sight na he started asking personal questions about me. So he started asking Ate Jojo about my number, and then he actually added me on Facebook, and doon nag-start ng story namin na we communicated through Facebook and Skype. And then he visited me multiple times, at least mga in a span of 2 years before I moved here in 2012. So I met him in 2009, and 2012 I came here, and we started a family.
Ilang taon ka te nung 2009?
I was 25 na.
25.
I know 2009. Okay. No, 2009. 23.
23. No, yeah, because
I was 23.
2010, minus 10. Yeah, you're 23.
Yeah, okay. And then 25 years old. Yeah, that's the time. That was the time that I migrated.
The prime years. Not just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
When everything happens, not everything, but
and life was not easy when I came here. Oh my gosh, the transition, the culture shock. It was not easy. I still recall that.
So lumipat ka ng 2012.
Wow.
2012, and you said you.
Oh, wait a minute. 2011. Ako punta
11,
dito.
okay.
Kasi 2012, Mickey was born in 2012.
Okay. 2011. Okay, so, okay. Then, let's backtrack to 2011. What, nung nag-arrive ka dito, did you arrive in New Jersey, where you're at now?
New Jersey.
Okay, Jersey.
My port of entry.
Okay. Ano yung anong pakiramdam mo? What were you feeling? Like, do you remember what you felt when you arrived here and the adjustment period?
Oh, I felt really scared. Scared and excited for new things, new places. Especially, nung time na yun, good thing it was summer. I came here mga June, end of June. And of course, knowing that I'm in a place where I don't know anybody, of course, naturally, yun yung first reaction mo, you get scared. But my husband was very supportive because he actually met me. I met him halfway. So from Cebu, I flew to Japan, and I met him in Japan, and we flew together here in Jersey.
Kung takot ka, dapat nagstay na lang kayo sa Japan. No, me too. I know when you I felt that. But then I was 9. I was a 9. Oh, nag-frozen. Sorry. Frozen ako. Okay. No, yeah, being a 9-year-old kid, I still remember that. Yeah, parang talagang the first thing that comes to mind is ang lamig.
Oh, it was summertime here, so it wasn't bad. I came at the right time na talagang plinan out talaga namin din when I'm gonna come in the US. Kasi sabi ko, I don't want to go there on like Christmas time kasi alam ko malamig. I'm excited to see a real snow, pero sabi ko, no, I want to go there pag at least okay sa akin, summer dito. So
yeah, para at least you're able to parang cool, parang acclimate into the weather.
Yeah.
Adjust, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so for the most part, okay lang yung pag-adjust your adjustment period mo dito. Okay.
Okay lang kasi my husband really like, you know, nung dumating ako dito, may rice cooker na ako, may rice na ako.
Mas nauna pa yung rice cooker sa bahay kasi sa'yo.
Oo, kasi isa yun sa mga, like, yung mga fear nung bago ako umalis ng Cebu. Sabi ko, hopefully I can still eat rice. Kasi my husband loves pizza, mga pasta, ganun. Sabi ko, I wish I can still eat Filipino food. Pero, plinano din niya kasi around my area, there's a huge Filipino community. So, marami kaming mga Filipino stores dito. So,
Wow.
hindi talaga ako
Lumipat
na
ba siya?
homesick.
Lumipat ba siya para sa'yo? Like, did he move to a different part of New Jersey? Or did he move into New Jersey?
No,
Ano
no,
yung
he
ano
was
dun?
he was really from New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, born and raised dito sa New Jersey. But it just happened na around the area meron talagang mga
Oh,
Filipino
okay.
food, oo, mga
Mm.
restaurants. So parang he was also thinking, oh, malapit sa ospital. So by the time na ready na ako mag-work as a nurse dito, easy lang talaga.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. That's a perfect segue. Okay, kasi
Mm-hmm.
sabi mo nurse. How did you know? Like, were you able to immediately start practicing being a nurse here, or were you already a nurse? You
I
you
was
were already a
already a
nurse,
nurse
right?
back home. Yes,
From back home. Okay, that's what you said.
I
Okay.
graduated. I completed my BSN back in the Philippines in
Yeah.
2007.
Yes. BSN.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, RN-BSN sa Philippines. And then, nung dumating ako dito, parang back to zero. I had to do all over again, going to school and train. Not school, but at least training and taking the exam. But it was not easy as well because I took the exam, yung NCLEX, yung National Certification for the Nurses dito. Hindi talaga
Mhm.
ako nag-work kaagad because unplanned. So, Miggy came. So, sabi ko,
A
career
year,
muna,
year two.
months actually. So I came here
Just
in
months.
June.
Okay.
Oo, I came here in June. Tapos nung December, nabuntis ako.
Ay,
And then,
bilis.
ang
Love
bilis.
wins. Talagang love. Love wins.
Totoo. Pero hindi talaga, hindi ko plinano. Hindi namin plinano ng asawa ko na magkaanak kaagad. And then later on, learn ko. So sabi ko, you know what, let me just enjoy being a mom. So 2 years akong hindi nag-work. And then while I was taking care of Michael, bago kapapanganak ko na lang, ko pa lang. So I was like also reviewing for my NCLEX. And then I took the test a few times before I actually passed it
Wow.
because I actually like underestimated the exam was so difficult. Because in the Philippines the exam was too long, yung dami ng questions, tapos dito it's computer adaptive. Pag if you're too slow answering the questions, actually the computer will fail you. Sabi niya, oh, yun, nahihirapan ka pala. So grabe talaga. Tapos ang content din ng exam was very like diverse kasi iba sa Philippines kasi you're only taking care of your same culture, family, Filipino. Dito, it's like a melting pot.
Iba. Yes,
Oo.
biggest melting pot ever.
Mm-hmm. So, dito is difficult. Iba din yung mga medications, iba yung mga like brand names. So,
Yes.
during the exam, I really had a hard time. But I took my time as well to study and at least, go into training. Sabi ko, at one point, nung second ko na I failed it the second time, I told my husband, I think this is not for me. But he was like yung parents niya was so excited. Sabi niya, Les, I think you're gonna be good at it. Just focus on it. Try your best again. Wala namang limit pag hindi ka makapasa sa exam. You can try again. Ang importante lang magbabayad ka. Mahal din yung exam.
Kaya kasi talaga manggagaling yung pagkapursige out of your pocket.
Oo nga. Pursige na lang out of the pocket. So, yun, I tried my best and then I passed it. And then, dun, nag-start na yun.
Third time ka nag-pass.
Oo. Third time is the charm.
Yeah, exactly. Third time's
Third
the charm.
time is
3
the
years
charm.
later, we're having this conversation, too, I do want to point out what you just said about having people who believe in you. That is so important. And for anyone that's tuning in, whether through the video format or the audio listening to it, and it's really important to surround yourself with people who will believe in you, because whether or not we realize this, everything that we are surrounded with, we absorb that, and somehow, some way, if we absorb it long enough and really believe in that long enough, it somehow becomes our own truth. So if you're surrounded by people who don't support you, who are not able to value the same thing you value, and then they tell you otherwise, if you stay long enough, of course, then you're going to start to doubt yourself. Then you're going to start to water yourself down just because of certain expectations, projections,
Mhm.
but in your case, it's so beautiful. I'm super super happy to hear that, they were supportive because that was everything you needed.
My
You really
parents-in-law, they were like angels. They're angels na.
popshi, popshi, ganun.
My father-in-law Richard and my mother-in-law Barbara, they were always there since day one. But of
Mm.
course, during those times, na when I first came here, meron ding mga spices sa life.
Oh yeah.
So my husband already had two kids from his previous relationship. They were not married. He was never married. Pero
Mm.
of course, I dealt with them because they're already teenagers and they're already like almost my age. Like yung eldest niya is nung time na yun ako 25, mga 21 or 22 na yung eldest. Tapos yung youngest is 18. So
Mm.
there was a huge transition because she lived with
Oh
her
yes.
dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then at first, they
That's
didn't
heavy.
really didn't like me. They did not like me coming here, and they were questioning why their dad married a younger Filipina, and then the mother as well. We're not in good terms. I'm okay, I'm okay. I tried my best to to befriend her, pero I don't. You cannot really please everybody, and
Yes. Yeah.
the takeaway from that experience, though, I know they were also shocked and they have like misconceptions about Filipinas coming in the U.S. marrying older
Oh
foreigners,
yeah.
older American, and they think that we came from the Philippines and we're here only for their money. Absolutely no. And I know they're stereotyping, and they judge,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's a human nature that they judge. But they got to know me more, and I proved to them that I came here not because of your dad's dollar,
You
and
came here
he's
for the
not
right
even
reason.
rich. He's not even rich. He's working his his I was gonna say the word a whatever. he's he's gonna work. He works so hard
Yes.
to
Yeah.
support the kids, especially they already like separated long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
but he paid child support.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very responsible dad for his kids.
Mm-hmm.
Kahit hindi sa time, at least finally he offered that growing up. And then later on, when my husband was already ready to build his own family, of course he had to make a decision. It's either me or his kids. And the kids felt like I am like the ano ba yan, kontrabida nang
Oh yeah.
dumating ako. So of course, that was my first struggle, nung struggle ko
Oh,
nung first ako dumating dito. It took
wow.
a while before we
Yeah.
we started trusting each other and actually accepting the differences. And alam naman nila, they think that Filipinas nagali. Ay, yung mga, sabi nila, I'm a million order bride daw, yun. So, they threw a lot of, yeah.
Mm.
I had it even, this is just to be honest with you, at once pumunta siya dito, yung nanay. And then she actually like talked to me and it was a bad conversation and an argument. Pero
Uh-huh.
sabi ko, I cannot really, force myself to be her friend. Kasi para lang sa mga, no matter what I do, hindi talaga ako matatanggap ng mga anak niya. So I just accepted it. Not, they never gonna like me, ganun. You know, I just did my best para lang sa family ko. It's only, I'm here for my husband at not para sa kanila. You know what I mean?
Yes. And
So,
you are not the reason why their family broke apart. Let's just
yeah,
clear that up.
absolutely.
Let's make that clear. You were not the reason why their family broke up, you
No.
know?
Long
So
time ago, the family, they're already like, they were already separated even before I came into the picture.
pero
So,
ano, okay na ba kayo? Parang it just never.
yes. Time heals. Time heals.
Oh,
And
yes.
I
Yes,
ask
it does.
me and my talagang yung stepdaughter ko, we are very close right now. There are issues na talagang I just wanna,
Mm.
respect her privacy. I wanna respect like every time you can never like prevent that from getting talked about or nami-mention natin ganun. Pero ang importante, what's the present relationship status? Yung present relationship status with my stepdaughter,
Yes.
we're
And what can you
cool.
build from and what can you build from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't take any grudges, wala na. So if that happened, that's past is past. So we're building a great
Yes.
relationship moving forward. Yeah.
Yay! Oh my gosh, that's okay. That is so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Whew,
I
because
gained,
that
I
also
gained, I gained a friend. Yun, I gained a friend. I don't
yes,
look
and
at her as my stepdaughter. She's my friend.
yes, which is I feel like in many cases is better too. Like especially, I mean, I've never had a stepmom or anything, but it does sound like I think that is probably the best way, especially if you want to be close to them, is for of course there is that, but also like to be their friend first,
Mm-hmm.
because it's different, diba? It's a different setup, But also that super long story short, when I arrived here, my story was we were like there was like a sibling feud like for generations, and it's just like we happened to be the one that was available and accessible towards like everyone's anger, and I didn't understand it growing up. So myself going from like you going from a really really loving and um really loving and affectionate family environment to like here it's so cold, like people definitely made you feel that they didn't like you, so that was like that instant kind of whoa,
Mm-hmm.
wake up call for me of where I'm at. I'm like, I don't like it here. And like what I said, again, super long story short, it actually took me next year I'll be here. I will be here for 20 years, you know? So it took me like almost that long to reconcile with the melting pot. I'm okay now. Like I've made peace with it being here. And also the same people that were my haters were actually besties now. So it's like so it's so funny in that way. Okay, so let's move on to the next section about being a nurse. So going more into about your experiences, I think more so now in this pandemic, because I know that was really that's really the thing that you're always posting on your social media about your experiences, your feelings. You've really allowed social media to be your outlet for that, and I've very I'm very very grateful, because then on my end, I get to see a certain person's perspective of what it is like to be in the field working. My mom's a nurse. She doesn't. I mean, I ask her. She does say that it's hard, but she doesn't go into like that much stories. So hearing you talk about what you go through, it's just like it allows me to. There allows to be more empathy. Like at least like I'm more like that. I'm more educated, basically. So, on that note, how has your experiences so far being a nurse? Now, finally, a nurse here in the States, because you were a nurse in the Philippines and now you're a nurse here. How has that experience been like being a nurse during this pandemic?
During this pandemic, it's been like a roller coaster ride. Since we got hit hard in March and we're dealing with the second wave of the pandemic. Um, at first, we did not really know what we're dealing with. So it was very like heartbreaking to see patients coming in with sometimes cough lang flu-like symptoms, and then later on, of course, nalaman na natin that they tested positive with COVID, and it was very very hard. But now we've learned from all the experiences for this past few months. We dealt with a lot of things. Like for me, mental health is very important. So that's the reason why, and you see that on my post on Instagram. Thank you for highlighting that. And as I have mentioned to you earlier, my life is an book, and I think that's how I keep my sanity really, to at least to be able as well, because not a lot of people are very open to how they
Yes.
feel, diba? And I want to help other nurses too and empower them, that this is not gonna be like forever that we're gonna be like dealing with this, because there's always answers naman. And I'm glad science with what they're doing now, the vaccines are coming. That's like,
Everything is so much more advanced now than it's ever been.
yeah, and more advanced.
It's
And
taken like 5 years for the
if I could
vaccine.
compare that too, if I could compare that yung sa experience ko as a nurse sa Cebu, hindi talaga ako naka-experience ng super stressful kind of day at work. Like right now, it's kinda like, I think, taking a toll to all the nurses na physically, we're tired, we're not eating at the right time, di kami nagbabanyo. Kasi busy talaga, super busy. But, we're here and I believe as well that we are called for a reason. Yung purpose ko talaga na, sabi ng asawa ko kasi he's non-medical. So every time I come home, I'm crying. Sabi niya, it's okay babe, suck it up, mamamatay talaga yung tao. Sabi ko, wala ka namang heart. Wala ka namang heart, yeah.
So, si kuya.
Sabi ko, what if ikaw yan? What if family mo? Yung sabihin ko sa kanya always. So, he learned from me and I learned from him too. Na sana, at least he also helps me out pata na talagang hindi talaga maka-apekto sa akin. Like, emotionally kasi. It's really hard to see people
that
die.
spirals you down personally, na talagang
Kasi if I could compare din sa, like, nag-work na ako sa ICU since 2017 ako nag-move sa ICU. 2015 ako nag-work sa same hospital and in 2017 I moved to ICU. The acuity of care that you give to patients, of course, you can see parang nagiging normal na lang na may mamamatay. You celebrate simple joys by, for example, na-extubate successfully yung patient, na nakakalabas ng ICU, na downgrade. Pero ngayon, parang imposible talaga, especially if they're COVID patients. Sinasabi ko na lang, pinipray ko na sana alive lang sila until makatapos yung shift ko. Before, meron ka talagang term goals sa kanila. Ngayon, parang yung goals ko is like day by day, being mindful na lang kung ano yung nasa present. Oo. So, ginagawa ko na lang talaga yung best ko na, okay, andito ako kasi may rason ako. This is what I'm gonna do today. I have to be strong emotionally. Kasi pag hindi ka mentally prepared and emotionally strong sa trabaho na to, you're not gonna make it. Sabi ko, since March, mga 10 months na kaming nagdidilang ganito. So, ang daming umalis, a lot of nurses left the bedside. And I'm one of those actually na plano talagang mag-quit ng bedside nursing. Kasi, of course, I was already like so burnt out. And then, recently, nung mga June pala, sabi ko, I think I needed help because emotionally at mentally, hindi na healthy sa akin. So, I was diagnosed with mild depression and anxiety, my nightmares. Para kasing war to na you are like bombarded with all these like, dying patients and you don't know what to do. Sabi ko, overwhelmed kami.
Yes.
And then sabi ko, it's okay, I'm just gonna trust science, I'm gonna trust my team because we cannot work alone sa unit. We work as a team. We work with the doctors, with the nurse practitioners, and your presence is very valuable kasi of course, you're the one taking care of the patient. You are the eyes, the ears. If there is any changes with their status, you're the one who's going to make a decision, either to call the doctor or not, either to change your doses kasi yung sa ICU, we are capable of, this is yung mga medication na lang ang nagpapabuhan nila. Pero yung decision mo, as you are titrating the medication, will depend on your hands. So nakikita mo, nagda-drop na yung blood pressure ng pasyente mo. Kung wala kang gagawin, mamamatay yung pasyente mo. So, your mind is really constantly working while you are nandyan. While even this patient is dying, you can do something. Like, I increase the medication to help the heart pump more to keep this patient alive. That's what we do. They are dependent on the machine, but patients are dependent on the decision of the nurse taking care of them. So, sabi ko, talagang meron akong purpose.
Mas labang pa kayo sa doktor at this point.
Oo, but we work as a team. I don't say that na
the real frontliners. You guys are doing everything, especially the physical work.
Working 13 hours and 95 and it's hard. So parang talaga ngayon nagla-lunch break na talaga ako. Before hindi talaga ako nagla-lunch break because I'm like I just want things done. Pero sabi ko, I have to care of myself also.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And this pandemic really taught me to also value myself. If I cannot work, if I cannot take care of myself, paano ako mag-aaruga ng ibang tao kung hindi ko...
Yeah, yung nag-expect sa'yo.
I don't do self-care.
Tapos yung trabaho mo, it's so interesting that we're having this conversation we are having this conversation because it's like, as we move into the new decade, literally 2020 was last year. you know, it's like self care is thankfully starting to become a thing that's like more accepted, even though we still kind of feel with like some kind of unspoken of like, is this, am I being selfish? Like, am I being selfish for taking care of myself when I know that I may
No.
disappoint someone's expectations, you know? But yeah, I mean, but like what you were saying, it's really important that we take care of ourselves because in the end, then if we have nothing else left to give, then we really can't do our job, whether that is through serving others or you know.
And talking about mental health, because
Mhm.
and social media. So let me just emphasize this
Yes,
one:
go.
mental health and social media. The reason why I became a content creator, naging streamer ako, kasi as you have mentioned kanina, yan yung outlet ko. How to keep my sanity.
Mhm.
So, at least may natutunan ka sa iba. And then I follow, there's a lot of influencers, like nurse influencers sa Instagram na talagang, they
Like
help me out
you.
so much. And then
Yeah.
I wanna do it as well sa iba kasi hindi naman lahat ng tao very open. So, at
Yes.
least
Yeah.
at least yun, it's really helpful, and I'm thankful for technology. Because imagine if we have this pandemic at wala tayong mga for example, this social media, I don't think we'll be able to understand more and appreciate what we have right now. Diba? At least meron pa rin socially distant but emotionally connected. That's all. Diba?
Yes, yeah, physically distance. Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're so able to we are so able to keep a sense of normalcy na ano. Like I mean, of course we've never met in person, but still even like talking to you right now, I'm like it does feel like we're talking in person. You know, it has that same like sensibilities and feelings, you know. You know what, ate, dapat mag-host ka. I feel like you'd be such a good host.
Oh,
I
thank
feel
you.
like
Maybe one day. Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah.
Isa din yan sa
I
mga
would,
aspiration ko because I have like I'm kind of very conscious, self-conscious then in front of camera. Pero sabi ko, you know what? What you see is what you get. Yun na lang.
it's I mean that's okay actually I was going to say because he asked my next question which was about kind of segueing to being a content creator live streamer but then I saw my own specific questions pero isn't that ironic that you said that you feel that you still feel um slightly subconscious considering that you live stream, you know, yeah, live streaming, that's like super, that's like the, I would say the rawest, you know, like the most like parang this is me, like how we're talking right now, this is me, this is not edited, you know.
Mhm.
So so what made you okay, so because I think I first knew you through YouTube, but I mean I guess it's more so Instagram than YouTube and then Kumu. Would you mind, I know, would you mind just kind of reiterating like how did that happen for you?
What do you mean? Like, how did I transition from being in YouTube, Instagram, and then Kumo?
Kind of, but I think what really well that too, pero like your journey and I know deciding to not just deciding because I know you just said that, pero
Okay.
the
Oh,
process,
the
just
process.
yeah, yes,
Okay,
everything.
so for YouTube, I've been posting videos since 2009, 2008.
Yes, you
So for
have.
me,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I did not really like plan out before. Sabi ko, since I just want to save up like some space from my phone. I want to post these
Oh
videos
yes,
online so later on I can just go back and watch them.
YouTube is like the original like online drive.
Yeah, it's parang online daw yung YouTube. And then later on, it started like, naging uso na nagmamonetize na yung mga YouTubers. Ko, oh my goodness, I wanna do that. But to be honest with you, wala pa rin yung thinking ko na, okay, I'm just gonna focus on YouTube so that I can
Oh
monetize.
yeah,
Wala. Para lang for fun, I post
ang
videos.
hirap
Oo,
ate.
hirap din. Oo, because antik naman kasi ngayon, ang dami ng talagang a day in the life of the nurse, di ba? Na ganun. Pero
Mhm.
hindi, yung iba, yung mentality ko kasi, nag-YouTube ako not to monetize, but just have for, like, just to share my life and then have fun. Ganun. Tapos
Yeah.
sa Instagram naman, ginagamit ko yung platform to reconnect with like fellow influencers at saka especially mga nurses. I want to see how they dealt with because we work in different departments. We work in ICU, in any department, iba-iba yung mga specialties eh. Tsaka yung hinuhon namin na skills. So sabi ko, okay, ito yung nakikita ko yung mga interest nila. For example, nagsa-start sila as travel nurses. O sabi ko, nagiging interesado din. Nakikita mo yung ibang opportunities na wala sa'yo ngayon. So at least later on in life, whatever you do, at least may option ka. So that's the thing
Yes.
with Instagram. And then
Yes.
nakikita mo talaga na,
Also, ate, like what I do really appreciate about your actually, well, first of all, so sa YouTube, I was di ko lang kung bakit ako natawa when I saw your old post because I think maybe because then I saw my old stuff na parang I did the same thing to my first channel before that one got deleted. I would just upload just to know like keep memories. There you go. Document memories. Suppose upload ko lang kasi because I'm not gonna keep it on my phone, diba? So then, sa Instagram, talagang actually even today when I was doing my research, I was like, talagang si ate talagang parang I super feel na she is finding she is able to find healing in expressing how she feels through this, and I feel like you are definitely someone that I would say is super aspirational na in that way that of the way you handle and actually how you use social media, you know.
no, thank
So
you.
ay card flip.
Oo. We
So
even had a conversation before na hindi makakalimutan kasi you were so down after death of a family member. And then I
yes,
messaged you. I said, I haven't heard from you for a long time. What happened? And then nag-post ka na parang very emo na post. Sabi ko, oh, I'm sorry. And then you told me that someone passed. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Please stay strong. If you need anything, let me know. So, yun lang. Para sabi ko sa sarili ko, I think, social media yung nagagamit natin to help someone heal. It's not, because I learned from you guys. I learned from you a lot.
likewise,
From life,
likewise.
yeah, sa life talaga in general. And then, a lot of people are like, nagbabrag. I don't know if it's really bragging, but you earned it, if you something. And I don't post so much about branded products. This is what I got. Kasi nagta-thank you lang ako. Hindi yan ang babrag ako. Kasi, ito yung nabili ko, ganun. But of course, you
Yes,
have to say na thankful ka kung anong meron ka. Ngayon. But you have to
yes.
live according to your means ba na ang iba kasi nagpo-post na, hindi na
Parang
ginagamit
ganun
ng
ng
social
parang
media.
yeah, because nowadays social media, especially in 2020, there is so much more of a social responsibility.
Mhm.
Diba?
Totoo.
Now, whatever we put out there, it has power, power of
Mhm.
influence, whether
The
that can help
power of
someone
influence.
motivate them. Yes. See, I should have just called this podcast "The Power of Influence."
Yep,
I've been
absolutely.
saying that since yeah. Pero no, then you YouTube, sorry, sa Kumu. Paano ka napadpad sa Kumu? Like how did you then transition? I wouldn't even say transition, but how did Kumu come to you?
Oh my. I think we have the same story why we like joined Kumo. So Kumo, to those who does not know who Kumo is, so it's a Filipino streaming app. So it all started because of
Yeah.
my aspiration to join the Pinoy Big Brother house back in the Philippines,
Oh,
meron audition. So
yes.
I actually filmed myself
Kaming
and
dalawang
auditioned
applicants
to
ng The Big Brother, we are here, okay? Remember this face. The people you didn't
yeah,
choose. It's okay.
so
I'm actually okay with it.
I'm gonna
I,
start.
ate, sorry na frozen ka. Hold on. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead. Continue. Na frozen ka.
So it's okay. So it all started because of Pinoy Big Brother audition. So I filmed myself because of social distancing engagement nila na okay, you can audition. And meron ako nung bata pa ako, going back nung mga high school days, ng first PBB. Sabi ko, oh, I wanna join that. Kasi alam ng mga friends ko, ng family ko, that I'm very outspoken, outgoing, at saka I think I can be like a
You'd be,
housemate,
you'd be
ganun.
a fit. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Sabi ko, sige, let me just try this one. So, just, kasi of course, yung 35 years old kasi yung age limit nila. Sabi ko, at least, ngayon, pwede at least may chance ako. Kahit hindi ako natanggap, okay, it's really like a blessing in disguise siguro na naging Kumu streamer ako. And hindi naman talaga ako super sikat na Kumu streamer as nag-aspire, nagsa-start pa lang. And then I've met a lot of like yung mga sikat na mga celebrities doon na they are
Uy, ate, may
streaming, they're sharing
kakilala
their
ako.
talent.
Pakikilala kita. Kilala mo si Rex Hernandez?
Rick Hernandez, familiar.
Yeah, she's someone that I just like how you and I met. I met her through YouTube. We were able to really like build the relationship, and actually I so yet have to ask her if she wants. I'm sure she'll say yes. Well, asumera, asumera, pero I know she also was a no, like super long story short, she went through a heartbreak. And then I remember she, like her and I were talking, and I was parang, giving her some advices na parang, huy, labas mo na yan, create from that place. That's all I told her. Tapos, um, create from that place. And what had happened was not only on TikTok, but also on Kumu, she was able to parang, really use her heartache to really create that power of influence. So,
Interesting.
so pakikilala rin kita, ate, pakikilala rin kita. Yes.
Good. Sige. I'm interested to meet Rick Hernandez. Okay.
Yes, Rex Hernandez.
Cool.
Yeah. Tapos ano pa yung so, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay. So noon, sa Kumu, I started streaming, as I mentioned earlier, kahit mga depende sa mood. Naglilinis ako, nag-video, okay. Oo, and I joined some streams, nag-co-host din ako sometimes. And then, by the way, Kumu is a great platform kasi you can also, like, even you give gifts that is convertible to cash, to money.
Yes.
Like, even you give diamonds. So, pahalo-halo lang yan na 20, 25, halo-halo. Pero may yan. You can, a lot of Filipino singers, celebrities are already in Kumu.
Yes.
And because of the pandemic, wala na silang mga projects. And that's how they are able to still reconnect with their fans and audiences through Kumu. Yeah. It's a great platform. And you can also help out. Right now, I'm in this group din, mga group of OFWs. So especially we just celebrated Christmas and they were so homesick. So when we were in Kumu, we would just talk about like random things and how we celebrate like Filipino Christmas. Like one was hosting, hindi ko makalimutan to ng December 25. She was hosting this stream and she was saying, okay, anong paborito niyong Christmas carols? So of course, meron ding mga prizes. It's really fun. Oo. So na parang it will bring you back kung saan ka galing and appreciate your Filipino roots. Kahit nasaan ka man ngayon, you're still Filipino, that's in your blood. You cannot deny that. Kahit naging red pa yung hair mo, naging blonde pa yung mata mo sa contact lens, you cannot erase kung saan ka galing.
Yes,
Talagang
exactly.
true blue Filipino ka.
Yes, red.
Especially you. Ako rin.
Actually, I wanted to point out too that see, Ate Mariles is the reason why I decided to audition. I was like,
audition for PBB.
Yes, for PBB, and we all know how that happened. But I would have to say though that wait, no, just kidding. Well, you and also Ate Emma, my Filipino filmmakers here of San Diego Filipino Cinema. You would love them too if you ever got the chance to meet them. But I know that they're gonna come in my podcast eventually. I asked them, they said yes. We just gotta film. Pero she's also, I think she was actually the first one. She sent me the post on their Instagram page saying, hey, they're opening it up. And then I was like, okay. And then it wasn't until I saw you and then I asked you about it that I think you were actually the catalyst for me to be like, hey, go gonna throw. I mean, this has literally been done. This has literally, been the year of just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Something will stick.
Just do it.
Yeah. Okay, so what kind of stuff
na-frozen ka.
Have a schedule on Kumu? Or did you just go random?
Random.
Okay, I can.
I don't have a definite schedule on Kumu. Just random. Most of the days pag off ako sa work.
Yes.
Pag off ako sa work talaga.
Actually, I would say that's better to just really come from a place of create and not expecting anything, because that way you can stay. I know the longevity, you can stay in it longer, versus, excuse me, versus doing it with already such a high expectation, which I admit
Mm-hmm.
I did with YouTube. I super long story short, I like am that person that would leave like my day job to like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, I'm gonna pursue this, and I know. So okay, so as we wrap this up, I have one more question from this main interview as we do
Okay.
the closing. Um, where do you get your strength and resiliency from? Because that is definitely what I think of you, besides being a nurse, besides being a content creator, an entrepreneur, saan mo nakukuha yung lakas ng loob mo, ganun.
Loob.
Loob.
Main source talaga is I am very religious and I believe in Christ, in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yun yung
Mm,
pinaka main source ko. And then, ang second source ko, then of course, yung family, yung husband ko, yung sinigi, yung anak ko, at saka yung sisters ko sa Philippines. And ang third source ko naman is, of course, sa self ko. Source, your willpower. Um, Yun talaga importante, yung may-believe ka sa sarili mo, may-believe ka sa Panginoon na nagbibigay sa'yo ng strength talaga. And yung family mo, friends na supportive sa'yo. People can bring you down, but so that's why you have to choose who your friends are. And I will tell you who you are, di ba? It will come out like that na,
not just friends, but people who you really listen to,
yeah, that you listen to. You make sure that you get surrounded by people
you
who
know?
are,
Ay,
in the
nagpo-na naman
same,
ako
yung the same talaga na aspects in life na go-getters, na positive, na people that will value who you are. And then of course, it will start by valuing yourself, that you know what, I have a
first. Yeah.
reason, and I am trustworthy, I am this and that, and I can do this and that, and I will
I
just do
have
the
my
best I
message and I have
can.
my purpose.
I just have my
Yes.
message and my purpose. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, then one more follow-up question with that. Then for those na they really feel like that are going through hard times, na parang they feel like it's the end of the world for them, it's super hard, super dark place, what one advice could you give to them?
Please don't give up, and always think about the positive reason bakit nangyari sa'yo yan. And we all know God will never give you any troubles, trials, challenges kung hindi mo kaya. You just have to believe in yourself. And as what we have mentioned earlier, na may bukas pa. So may bukas pa.
Oh, that
And that feeling that
song,
you
it's
are
like Santa's
feeling,
version.
oo, oo.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself, believe in God, and listen to the right people. So, and also you need to help yourself. Like for example, if I am feeling so down, I just
Mhm.
randomly like watch on YouTube kung ano yung mga inspiring messages. I read the
Yes, yeah.
Bible. Oo, and I
Yes,
believe
yeah.
also na may purpose. So may sign. Sometimes meron ding signs,
Yeah.
and sabi ko, I think this is not the time yet. Kung meron ka talaga na ina-aspire sa heart mo, na for example, you are caught in the middle, sabi, kung magdi-decision ka, always think about, like, okay, I'm not gonna make a decision right now. I will do it later pag ready na ako. So do
Mm.
not get yourself like confused. So take a nice deep breath and then let it go. Yung
Yes.
feelings na yan.
Ay, so nag-froze na naman tayo. Yes, yeah. Wow, that's pretty beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we are down to our last question. And thank you so much again for being here.
Yes,
I know that you could be doing other things on your day off. So talagang salamat na salamat ulit.
no
Okay.
problem.
So my final question is, what would you tell your 5-year-old self?
My 5-year-old self, you did a great job believing in yourself, believing God, believing that things can happen and things are possible. You did not, you learned to question who you are before, like, with identity crisis ako. But when I was 5 years old, we're so like immature and stuff like that. But when things happened, but you were there, still sticking to God's plan, and hindi ka na give up. And I'm proud of you. Mm-hmm.
Yay. Wow. Wow. Okay, ate, go. Thank you. Mag-plug ka na. Go plug. Where can
Okay.
people find you? Please promote your socials and also please your
Mhm.
businesses. I know we didn't really get to talk about this because
It's
we went
okay.
too much deep. Pero please use this opportunity to share those.
Mhm.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Adrian, for letting me share my life with you today on your podcast. To those who does not know me, I'm Mariles. I'm also known as PINAYNANAYNURSE. I'm a dedicated Filipina mama who also a full-time nurse and a businesswoman. I started doing entrepreneurship for this year since the pandemic. So I would like you to, no, I'm inviting you guys to follow me on Instagram at PINAYNANAYNURSE. I also dance on TikTok. I also stream on Kumo. Same lang lahat ng socials ko at
Yes.
PINAYNANAYNURSE. And with
Yes.
business, I'm also a stylist with Color Street, and I'm also yung isa is hindi ko i-mention, but I'm also a business owner of
Hindi
aloe
pa
products.
hindi
Yeah,
pa ready.
hindi pa ready. So,
Hindi
it's
pa
still in
ready.
the works.
Talagang showbiz, it's funny, every single person that I've asked, they've had like these things like they wanted to say pero hindi pa ready. And I'm like, okay lang showbiz yan.
Hindi
Pero
pa ready, but it's gonna
hindi pa
be a
ready
big
pero
thing.
yes, pero when it's ready, I'm gonna update I will update my description box and my show notes
Oh,
para nandun sa huli. Yes.
thank you so much. And
Salamat.
yeah, so cheers. Maraming salamat,
Cheers,
Adrian, for this
everyone.
day. Cheers.
This podcast show is a product of Studio Penguino. For more information about advertising, please visit www.adrianpenguino.com.